2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, happy post Monday. We got a lot to talk about today. Going to be a fun one for sure. Big program. There is plenty to cover and so little time to do it, so we will try to cram as much of this together as we possibly can. But we'll have Dr. Nelva Lee on the program. She's with the Georgia Black Republican Council, also with the Georgia Department of Community Health. We'll chat with her about statewide healthcare reform at the federal level, and a heck of a lot more. We have the cabinet meeting from the Trump team today. We had an announcement from the Trump team today. I know we're going to try and get to much of this as possible, but it's going to be a hard one. So that being said, make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing on a Tuesday. Hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Well, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your post-Monday celebration. It is the Voice of Reason. I am Andy Hooser. Hey, it's so great to have you today. As usual, as we are hopefully settled back down into our work groove. Although I see the light at the end of the tunnel, you see Christmas just a couple weeks away, which means you check out for like 2 weeks straight. So, hey, we'll keep you entertained until then. There is a lot to talk about. My brain's just overflowed with how much we need to get to today. So we'll try and pick out the best that we possibly can. Welcome into it. As usual, it is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting in the heart of the nation, doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on this program. Dr. Nelva Lee will be on the show today. She is with the Georgia Department of Community Health. She's also part of the Georgia Black Republican Council. We'll chat with her about the idea of healthcare reform. Apparently, Congress planning on working on healthcare reform throughout this month and ending the funding of big insurance companies and going back to private options and reforming the ending of funding of government healthcare. Could that be? I know. Whoa. That could be a big one, so we'll chat with her about that and what state-run healthcare programs actually look like. But a lot to talk about today as we get into our
What's Trending Today.
And I got to be honest, I don't know where to start because if you've heard, there was the last cabinet meeting for the Trump administration for 2025, and it was a bigly one. In fact, there was so much in there of good news, interesting news, tidbits that we need to cover, that you could probably spend an entire hour of conversation on each one of the comments from each one of the cabinet members, and we just don't have time for that today. So we'll try and get to some of the best that we have, but we do have a new portion, a new segment on this program that we've tried to call with Donald Trump's best quotes and comments of the day. And that was it with this opening statement. If you did not hear the press conference today in the cabinet meeting, probably one of the most entertaining ones that I've seen in a very long time. And there was a lot of really good news. We saw Scott Bessent today. We saw what's his name, Luckner. We saw a lot of those that had some really great information economically. We had some updates from Marco Rubio. We saw Kristi Noem. I was able to hear the majority of the 2-hour cabinet meeting as I was in and out going about my day today, listening to it in the background. Very entertaining. Donald Trump by far, man. He's just to the point. He don't care. He's just going after anybody he can, and it's hilarious to listen to. But we had some really interesting news today, and the big word of the day, according to Donald Trump, was the term Democrats have been using, which is Affordability.
About affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Just say it. Affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything. The prices were massively high. Do you remember when we took over eggs? You did a great job on that, Madam Secretary. Agriculture, Brooke. Eggs were 4 or 5 times higher than they had ever been. They said don't order eggs for Easter at the White House. And we ended up doing it, and we got the egg prices way down, lower than what they were before. But the word affordability is a con job by the Democrats. They say affordable. I watched the other day where some very low IQ congresswoman talked about affordability. She had no idea. Their prices were much higher. As an example, energy, gasoline, we're now at about $2.50 a gallon. We're going to be, I think, at $2 a gallon. We could even crack that at some point. I'd love to do it.
All right, so I know that was Donald Trump during the cabinet meeting. Affordability, that was the big word of the day, and, man, he just goes after him. The low IQ Democrats, he just don't care, man, which, to be honest, he's right. I mean, we saw, again, a 30% inflation rate for the 4-year period under Joe Biden. 30% increase on average with all the cost of living items out there. And media was just like, nah, economy's doing well. We're coming back from COVID. Not a big deal. Trump comes in, and now all of a sudden, why are gas prices too high? Why are egg prices too high? And they were doing it within weeks of him taking the administration. Into middle of February. They're like, how come the economy is so expensive right now? And now their new trigger word is affordability. That you're going to hear that on the campaign trail. You're going to hear that in the midterm elections next year. We have the Tennessee special election going on today, district number 7, I believe, with the race against the AOC of Tennessee. We'll cover that in just a little bit. That election going on. We'll see what those results look like in I think, a relatively red state. So I don't know if we're not concerned about it, but we should always be concerned and show up to vote. That would be something that's just kind of common sense. But we need to show exactly what the economy is doing, the transition that we're in right now. And if they want to use this trigger word, affordability, where was the affordability for the past 4 years of the Biden administration? Didn't make a whole lot of sense. I got to say, these cabinet meetings are really great. Again, if you don't like the Trump admin, if you don't like the team, if you like to poke fun at all the different cabinet members and what they're doing, I know that South Park, again, still a big fan of South Park. I don't really care that they knock on Donald Trump. They've been knocking on Pete Hegseth and Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi and all that. I get it. I don't care. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's funny. It's comedy. Whatever. At the same time, the new episode, the Thanksgiving one, if you didn't watch it, was on Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth that are all about their followers on social media and trying to be these influencers and doing everything on social media. I know it's funny, but I got to be honest, I kind of like it because this is the transparency that we want, right? We want transparency. We want to see what they're up to. We want to see what's going on behind the scenes because that creates a better connection, more trust on the individuals, not necessarily the agencies. But what they're doing is showing exactly what they're working on, and I kind of like that. To me, that's nice. And these cabinet meetings are kind of the same way. So we saw a lot of that today. Whether you like it, disagree with it, agree with it, it doesn't matter. At least they're talking to us and they're doing it directly to the media, and then the media can run with it with what they will. But Donald Trump mentioned something interesting today. And one of those was, as we talk about the economy, the investments that we're seeing, close to $18 trillion. Yes, that's with a T, in investments at the federal level, different businesses coming in, better trade deals, more revenue coming in, that we're starting to actually really show how easy, well, maybe not easy, but easier than what's been presented to us by politicians and media on ways to turn the economy around. Now, we obviously have still a lot to do with the economy to try and cut spending. The federal government has a lot of work to do there. Congress, you have a lot of work to do there to cut federal spending, to get rid of government agencies, to get rid of the wasteful spending and the bureaucracy and all the federal employees. We have a lot of work to do there. And that's why we're sitting at, $35, $36, $38 trillion in a national debt. But with just a little bit of muscle, with just a little bit of grease here, with just a little bit of momentum and a good salesperson, we now have a boost of the economy over the next few years of $18 trillion. And according to Trump, that's going to allow us to pay off the national debt, or at least pay it down substantially. It's also going to create a new plan for Donald Trump, even though we go into a new year with less taxes across the board, of Donald Trump now potentially actually getting rid of federal income tax altogether.
Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars. And we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people in addition to reducing debt. As you know, I inherited a lot of debt, but it's peanuts compared to the kind of numbers we're talking about. So we're going to be making a dividend to the people. And additionally, we're going to...
Okay, before we go any further, so if you didn't catch that, so the $2,000 checks that he was talking about per person because of the tariff revenue, that apparently is going to be coming in on your tax returns next year. Whether it's certified, whether it's locked in and it's going to happen, that's yet to be determined, I guess. But according to Donald Trump, that's what he wants to do. And when you file your taxes, you get your tax return March or April, whenever you file, you could be getting a $2,000 tax return per person dividend back into your returns there. That's interesting, man. Look, if that happens, that's a whole nother level. Again, I would rather see us pay down the debt completely for the federal level and then try and make sure we have a balanced budget to not be in that position again. But if he gives a lot of people that much money, can pay down a lot of debt personally. Could stimulate the economy a little bit with a one-time investment somewhere. I don't know, but that's a large, hefty chunk for people, not just because you're getting it for the government printing the money during a COVID pandemic, but doing it because, well, you deserve that money back because you paid too much into the government because the government's been spending it wastefully, and Trump wants you to have that back.
Be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay.
Whoa.
Because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
You know, I will take the we're going to just pay federal income tax to keep it around for fun card. That's going to be the one that Democrats are going to say, we need the federal income tax. Now, remember, we used to not have a federal income tax back in the early 1900s before the Great New Deal that FDR signed and post-World War II and the creation of all these government agencies and the communist revolution that took over in this nation with the fourth branch of government. FDR himself very vividly, openly saying that, hey, politicians come and go, but if you create that administrative state, then the agenda can continue on whether the politicians are in there or not, and whatever their flavor of political views may be, that the administrative state continues, the bureaucratic state continues, and therefore we can just continue on with our agenda, moving down that road of totalitarianism, authoritarianism, and complete control. That was FDR's goal. He openly said that. Democrats, you can disagree with me all you want, but that's the way that it actually happened. And now, Donald Trump, since then, we've kind of had to have a federal income tax to fund every ridiculous program that the federal government's doing. Donald Trump's saying now, hey, if we keep this trade deal going, if we have this investment into the country, we're not going to need it. We can actually supplement that and go back to the way things were before, even with the administrative state that we're never going to completely get rid of, but maybe we can downsize a little bit and, kind of tier step downward, that we can actually do it by trade and by investments in this country. Are you okay with that? I mean, if I'm not paying federal income tax, I'm okay with that. But that's a bold move. That's a bold statement. Now we have the one big beautiful bill that was passed 4th of July. And the end of this year, January 1, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That's a big first step. He wants to reform property taxes. Property taxes are more of a local government thing across the nation, so kind of hard for him to hit on that one. But between the money he wants to give us from the tariffs, which is $2,000 per person, potentially, I'm guessing, $4,000 per family or household that way, and with the money he wants to give us back if they reform healthcare and not pay the big insurance companies, you could be seeing a hefty chunk of money coming back to you in those pockets, and then begin to, in the next few years, reform and not have federal income tax, which means you go down to nothing more than the sales tax, which would be the ideal form anyways, in my humble opinion, and then at the local levels, at the state level, you have your state income tax, or you have your state sales tax or state property taxes. Depending on your state, some of you don't already have state income taxes because you have property taxes or you have sales tax or whatever else you do. Other states, and in fact, I got to give a shout out to a couple of our state reps here in Kansas. They're working on a couple of plans to get rid of all of that altogether based on investments that the state wants to do, and based on the interest generated from the investments at a state level, it would compensate to pay for the state government operations, and you can actually get rid of state income tax that way too. That's, again, one more time, that's kind of awesome. And the more money you have back in your own personal pocket, the more that you can spend, which means the more you can invest in the economy, which means the more the economy can actually grow. According to Donald Trump and this plan, we're going to grow ourselves out of this debt as a nation. We need to cut. So Congress, get on board. You're in session. Let's get her done. Let's start cutting government pretty substantially. That's going to be a harder challenge to do, as you know, which we've already seen these battles legally and otherwise that are making it very difficult for us to cut these federal agencies. But if we can grow ourselves out of it, we can grow ourselves into prosperity, which is the idea, the dream that Donald Trump has, this golden age of America, and we can do so to the point to where we can override the current debt, force ourselves out of debt, pay down the debt, and then make sure it never happens again. It will happen again, but hopefully it doesn't happen again for our lifetime or beyond a little while, so we can actually enjoy the golden age of America.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, Reason, Common Sense, Rationale. Welcome back into the program. 24 minutes past the hour. It's great to have you, as usual, for your post-Monday celebration here on the program. I told you, we have so much to talk about. We haven't even gotten to what the cabinet members have said. We've only talked about one of the issues that the president has mentioned. We're going to be talking about this throughout the next couple of days because there's a lot of information I think you really need to have, and that's what we're all about, man. Breaking it down for you to understand the direction we're going, the messaging that Republicans need to have, the conversation that the conservatives and the Trump admin need to have to show the success and the way we're moving, and then you can take it and run with it as you will. But it's really exciting. And could we potentially see federal income tax go away under the Trump administration? That would be pretty wild, man. That's for sure. Hey, while we're going into the holiday season, I know that you're looking for stocking stuffers. You're looking for snacks for the family get-togethers, whatever you are, and you need to check out J&S Smoked Snacks. Go to jssmokedsnacks.com. They have smoked sausages. They have their beef jerky, which is my favorite, and they have so many different flavors of it. From the original to the teriyaki to the dill flavored, which apparently is their number one seller. I don't get that one, but hey, if you like the dill pickle, man, you will love that. They even sell their dill seasoning, which you can buy as well, which is really kind of neat. They have their mango and habanero. They even have their new ghost pepper flavored and their honey and bourbon flavored beef jerkies.
Say what?
Kind of awesome. And for my listeners alone, if you go to jssmokesnacks.com, jssmokedsnacks.com, and use the promo code REASON, you can pick out any 4 bags of that beef jerky that you want to, whatever flavors, any combination that you want, for $47.45. And you can see the resemblance. President Trump, $47.45. Pretty awesome. Just use the promo code REASON, REASON, at jssmokedsnacks.com and get your beef jerky for the holiday season. It is real cuts of beef. It is real seasoning, and it's really, really good with JS Smoked Snacks. All right, there's another issue that I want to touch on briefly, although we won't have time to break it down a whole lot right now. But Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security, gave an update on an investigation into the state of Minnesota that will be kind of mind-blowing to you as we talk about reforming social programs. We talk about the deportations and migration and what's going on here. The immigrants that we've imported intentionally under the Biden administration and beyond, where the numbers are kind of shocking with what she reported to the president today.
You told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent.
Hold on. Did you hear that right? That was 50%, not 5%, not 15%. That was 50. Half of the visas in the state of Minnesota are fraudulent. Can someone please verify that number? That's mind-blowing. And that was under, by the way, Governor Tim Walz during this administration, the Biden administration, intentionally importing individuals that have yet to assimilate into American culture, that are trying to change the politics up there, trying to change the essentially the non-assimilated culture up in the state of Minnesota, and saying, hey, yeah, 50% of them completely fraudulent.
You told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think he's both, sir. He brought people in there illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers and we're going to remove them, and we're going to get our money back, and we're going to this next year make sure that we only put people in leadership positions in this country that love this country and have its back. So
wow, so that is mind-blowing to me. That is massive news. 50% of the visas are completely fraudulent, with people that got here that should not have come here under the false pretense of however they lied in order to get their visa to come into the United States and start changing the culture. That is mind-blowing, that is scary, and that is something that we need to address ASAP.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Hoosier Media Network continues to grow every single day with new shows, new content, and new information as we continue to fight the narrative against the mainstream and give you the alternative view of the world. The Hoosier Media Network is home to great TV, radio, and podcasting programs on any topic of any interest, from politics and current events to religion and spirituality, holistic and alternative health, entertainment, motivational speakers, and so much more. And with the Hoosier Media Network, you can enjoy more content from the Voice of Reason like this. For those that don't know your story, Mia, talk about your story, your upbringing, and the fact that you are a first-generation American, which becoming a first-generation American and becoming a congresswoman, that's an amazing American story right there.
That's the American dream. My dad was chased by a Tonto-Makut, and those who really don't know what a Tonto-Makut is, they were armed individuals. I call them thugs that served at the pleasure of the president or dictator in Haiti. And that was the Duvalier. And no law applied to them. They had free reign to do whatever they wanted to. They could go into your home, eat your food, rape your families, and there would be no justice. They would walk out and be completely fine. And so when you were chased by one of these individuals, you didn't want to get caught. So my father jumped into a sewage pipe, and he stayed there, closed his eyes, and stayed there until the next morning. And when he went home, his mom was shocked to see him because she thought he had died. If a 14-year-old didn't come home at that time in Haiti, the chances are they weren't coming home. Wow. They didn't come home at night. That's the time when my father said he remembers saying he's going to go to America, the land of the free that he had heard about, where you could work as hard to be anything you want to be. If he wanted to, whatever he wanted to do, he could do it, but only in America. And he decided at the age of 14, when he raised a family, he was going to raise it in America. And he had worked very long and hard. You know what my dad said to me? I think it's really important that people hear this. My dad said to me just not too long ago, just the other day, he's like, you know what's sad? He said, I love America more than a lot of Americans do. And I said, well, Dad, what would make you say something like that? And he said, because I know what it's like to live outside of this country. Yeah. I know what it's like to run away from people who are supposed to protect you, but can do whatever they want. And there's no justice. I know what it's like to live in a country where government is bigger than people.
It's a scary thought, but he's absolutely right. I see that all the time myself. I don't know whether we take it for granted. We don't understand the greatness that we have in this nation. We have people that burn the flag left and right, that try to cuss it, that try to stand up for communist China, or that stand up for Cuba, and some of the dictators that stand up for these socialist nations. I don't know why we do it, Mia, but the big question is he said, like he said, he came here for the American dream, to work as hard as you can, and the more work that you put into it, the better benefits that you get out of it. Do we still have that society today? Is that American dream still alive?
Oh, I think it's not as available, and it's not because we attack the very thing that helps give the American dream, freedom. You have to have freedom to have the American dream. You have to have the ability of people to risk everything, to open up a shop, to provide an asset, whether it's a service or product that other people want. Our entrepreneurs are being attacked. Success is being attacked. I mean, these are the people, these small businessmen and women are the ones that gave my dad 3 jobs in order to make ends meet. And they're being attacked. Our taxes pay for things that do not really benefit us as individuals. I always, as a mayor, as a city council member, and even as a member of Congress, those dollars are sacred. I saw them as sacred.
Listen to all these programs and so much more as we try to bring back knowledge, wisdom, and truth back into the world. And we do that right here with the Hooser Media Network, the future of media.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
What we found is there have been states that have issued commercial driver's license to foreigners, and they've gone through sham schools, and they're not safe on American roadways. And so, in partnership with Secretary Noem, we have driven those numbers down. We've got California, Gavin Newsom, to revoke 17,000 unlawfully issued licenses. We've closed down half of the fake schools that give out these fake licenses, all critically important. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota gave 33% of these licenses unlawfully. People that should never have a driver's license driving a big rig on American roads, endangering the American people. Shameful.
How insane. Could you imagine, just for a minute, that Tim Walz would be vice president right now under Kamala Harris if they would have won that election? And with the new information that's coming out, where his priorities would have been. When you hear this news of Kristi Noem that we just played, about 50% of the visas in the state of Minnesota have been fraudulent, with individuals coming in under a false pretense and lied in order to get their visas to come into the country. And now we're seeing what's happening to the state of Minnesota. 33% of those that have commercial driver's license under Governor Tim Walz, with fake schools and all this other garbage that we're just giving these illegal migrants the ability to drive commercially around the country under, again, Governor Tim Walz in that state alone. That's absolutely insane, man. That blows my mind. The investigation continues, and I want to see deportations. We want to see some results from this. Now that we have the info, now we need to start acting upon that one. We'll get to back to that in just a little bit. Plenty more to get to, but let's shift gears.
What's trending today?
I want to go to the healthcare conversation. As you know, Congress says that they're planning on working on reforming healthcare at the federal level. There should be a vote sometime this month on the promise that John Thune gave Democrats in order to pass the continuing resolution on them reinvesting money into the Obamacare subsidies of Obamacare, which are not going to happen. We'll do the vote, but it's not going to work. It's going to fail pretty miserably. But then we're going to have another vote. And the other vote is going to be potentially ending the subsidizing of these insurance companies at the federal level. President Trump making the comment today during that cabinet meeting that he wants to see that and give the money back to the people, saying this.
And it's going to have a huge impact on healthcare because a big part of it's buying drugs, buying prescription drugs. It's going to have a huge positive impact because Obamacare is a disaster. I said it years ago and I say it now. And the money should be paid, taken away from the insurance company. Obamacare was made to make the insurance companies rich. Their stocks have gone up 1,000% in a short period of time because the money goes to the insurance company. I want the money to go to the people. Let all the money go to the people.
What could that look like, and where are we at with the healthcare conversation? What could Congress actually do? That's where we go to our next guest here on the program. She's with the Georgia Department of Community Health, and she's part of the Georgia Black Republican Council, and she is the founder and CEO of MITIO Incorporated, a medical and court interpreting and translating training institute. Really happy to have on the program today Dr. Nelva Lee. Nelva, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so glad that healthcare is now on the forefront of conversation, and maybe, just maybe, Nelva, we could finally see some traction on fixing the healthcare system, getting back to what it was prior to Obamacare, creating private options again, and allowing states to run healthcare the way that it needs to. With your background, with the experience that you have, is that the direction that we need to go again in this country?
Well, as you know, I'm here in the state of Georgia, and we opted out of the Obamacare, and we created our own sort of hybrid, and it worked just fine as far as providing health care to the indigent. So, yes, there's definitely ways for states to do it without having to have Obamacare as part of the their states having to get extra money for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, good for you in Georgia for not doing that. I live in Kansas, and we're one of the few, right along with you, that have not expanded Obamacare or those Medicaid expansions. So what does your program look like in Georgia? How do you guys operate your health care plans?
We definitely have, like I said, a hybrid in that it's for those that qualify for Medicaid, and they do have to have some sort of work incentives, work provisions. They have to have employment, et cetera. But if you don't mind, I'd like to speak to a little bit about my run for office. I'm running for Georgia Superintendent of Schools.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sort of pivoting a little bit into education, if you don't mind me kind of promoting that a little bit.
No, absolutely. Yeah, talk about that. And I mean, the healthcare issue and the education kind of go hand in hand. Both of them need to be taken away from the federal government and back into the hands of the states right now. So running for the Georgia Superintendent of Schools is a daunting task, kind of the same battles that you've had to go through with the healthcare industry, which I know you have a large background in. But talk about what's going on in Georgia right now.
Definitely. So I definitely support Donald Trump's efforts in abolishing the Department of Education at the federal level. Here in the state of Georgia, we see that over 50% of our budget goes to administration because so many of the regulations from the feds is, a lot of red tape and bureaucracy that has to be managed. And so over 50% of our funding goes to that, not to the schools, not to the teachers, definitely not to the students. And so I'm a very big proponent of school choice. So here in Georgia, we passed the Promise Scholarship Act last year, and I'd like for that to be expanded. Something similar to what they're doing down in Florida, so where it's expanded to every family, so $8,000 to every family that wants to be able to have alternative education other than the public school system. Yeah. And so that's definitely one of my flagship initiatives that I'd like to see expanded here in the state of Georgia.
It's a really great opportunity. There's many states that are starting to allow the money to travel with the students wherever they go, whatever district that you have, open enrollment or school choice or different options that students can have, which has been driving more competition, and it's been really beneficial from what we've seen from different states around the country. Have you guys been able to create more of that open enrollment or school choice in Georgia? When did that transition happen in the state?
So it's actually rolling out currently, and it's only to those here in Georgia. The Promise Scholarship Act only gives that $6,500 voucher to families whose children live in the bottom 25 percentile as far as academically in the state. And so we would like to see that expanded to all families, and only families who are currently in the public school system are eligible. So if you're homeschooling, like I homeschool my children, or if you've got children in private school, you're not eligible. So we'd like to definitely expand the voucher for everybody. and that they can use it in any setting. So the current $6,500 voucher can only be used at a private school. We'd like to be able to expand that to charter schools and homeschooling, et cetera.
Yeah. It's a really great plan. I love that idea. Are you optimistic that we could see, is Congress is working on their agenda right now, trying to get rid of these healthcare subsidies at the federal level, trying to get rid of the Federal Department of Education? Are you optimistic? Could we actually see Congress end the Federal Department of Education relatively soon?
Yes, I definitely see that happening.
That's interesting.
And
You're optimistic.
Basically, even if I am, because the schools will then, the states will then get block grants. It's not like that money will go away. It'll just be allocated to the states to be able to use as they see fit, without all the red tape associated with the federal government.
Yeah.
Rules and regulations. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's shortage in teachers. Here in Kansas, we have a shortage of teachers. We have a shortage in doctors and nurses. We have a major shortage in nurses for whatever reason. I don't think it's localized to individual states. I think it's more of a nationwide issue. Is that the same problem
That's
there in
correct.
Georgia? Are we seeing a shortage in all those industries as well?
Definitely. We do have a shortage of teachers and nurses here in the state of Georgia, as well as doctors, like as you mentioned. And I think a lot of it goes back to, especially for the shortage of teachers, it goes back to that red tape. Teaching isn't what it used to be, right? So many teachers now have to do so much documentation and so many other things that takes them away from teaching. For example, here in the state of Georgia, we have a milestones test that literally teachers have to shut down their classrooms from February through May just to teach to a test. And that is not teaching. That is not what people who love to teach or see it as a calling, that is not why they went into that profession. And so we would like to see an abolishment of that milestone test as well, and to bring back the love of teaching back to, and I believe we'll see an increase in teachers once that happens, for sure.
Yeah, that would be really nice. We're talking with Dr. Nelva Lee. She's with Georgia Department of Community Health, and she's a candidate for superintendent of schools for the state of Georgia, and along with the Georgia Black Republican Council. The state of Georgia, for a while now, has been at least hopefully a deep red zone. Hopefully it continues to be that way. But has there been a push from Democrats? Have you seen any type of energy, any type of push for them going into midterm elections that you think that they could gain any type of momentum in the state?
Are you asking as far as whether or not we are a purple state? Is that what you're
I mean, well, I don't know that Georgia's necessarily a purple state, but at least maybe in the midterms this year, maybe we could see that. Are you seeing that at all?
I think they're definitely in some of the metro Atlanta areas. It's definitely more purple, than red.
Sure.
We do have a lot of people coming in from other states. So you have a lot of people coming in from New York and California. That's pushing that for
They're
sure.
They're exiting New York and coming to Georgia. That's they're moving down
yes,
south. That's interesting. Nova, I tell you what, hang on the line. I didn't look at the time here. We got a hard break. Hang on the line. When we come back, I want to continue this. I want to talk about the schools. I want to talk about ways to make Georgia great and how we can work on reforming the federal levels. We got lots to get to. So little time right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. You know, it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. you're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
Get ready for a...
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy The Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. Great to have you. Wrapping things up for today on a post-Monday celebration, getting you back into the groove of things after your Thanksgiving celebration. Hopefully you had a great one. As we're talking healthcare, we're talking education, we're talking reforms, getting the federal government out of the way, allowing states to do their thing and be the social experiment that we were supposed to be in the first place. President Trump, by the way, announcing that during the cabinet meeting today, and this is another episode of Donald Trump saying crazy stuff. Well, in a good way. It's just hilarious. It was probably one of the most comical cabinet meetings that we've seen in a very long time. He was talking about health care and had brought in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the issue, and he talked about pharmaceutical and drug prices, one of them being the fat drug.
So we're paying, as an example, for let's go with the fat drug, FAT, for fat people. Anybody use it at the table? Don't ask. But the fat drug was $135. Think of that. For certain people, $1,300 for certain countries, $1,300 in New York. So in New York, it was $1,300. And in London, it was $135. And a friend of mine called me, he said, what is this? Why is it? He got used to paying $1,300.
Yeah, I mean, can you say that anymore? I thought that was a bad word. You're not allowed to say that. Calling people that word. What's ridiculous? We're hanging out with Dr. Nelva Lee. She is a candidate for Georgia Superintendent of Schools. She's also with the Georgia Black Republican Council, and she's been involved in healthcare in the state for a long time. Nelva, I mean, let's talk about the obesity issue for children, especially as we go into the education and the health realm here. Is that an issue that you think that schools need to be focused more so on? Do we need to focus on maybe some more extracurricular activities, getting kids involved again, maybe with healthy lifestyles, healthy diets, getting them up and moving around again? Is this something that we should start focusing on again?
Yes, for sure. I'm actually very happy that Kennedy is where he's at. My daughter has even, she sits in school, public school, and she's actually aware of all the changes that are happening, for her drinks and snacks that are no longer going to have dyes and things like that. I think that's a really good move on our part. But honestly, for younger kids, we need to bring back recess. We need to have them have more activity, be more active. One of the reasons why I'm promoting school choice is because there are different school systems or different school environments that work better for certain kids. We have all these children that are, quote unquote ADHD, that really all they need is to have more activity. Children were not meant to stay seated for 6 hours at a time. Most adults can't even do that, and let alone children. So we really need to have different types of school environments. I love, for example, the Montessori school system that really lets kids be kids, and they learn in that environment without having to worry about being labeled because they can't sit still for 6 hours at a time.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea, the fact that we don't need to have an umbrella type of education system for every single kid to learn the exact same way, that we actually, the hands-on from the training, like you said, getting up and moving around and actually standing up, because you're not supposed to sit for 6 to 8 hours a day, bringing back some recess, having maybe more extracurriculars with hands-on activities. We need to start bringing much of that back to allow a lot of these kids like myself that wanted that hands-on and needed to actually visually see how to do something, have that light bulb click and actually give them more opportunities.
Correct. Yes, definitely. I'm in 100% agreement.
Yeah, it's what we're all about. Work in progress is what we're doing. Nelva, we got just about 30 seconds left here. People want more information on you, want to see all the stuff that you're working on, both on education and on health. How can they reach out to you?
My website is drnelvalee.com. That's drnelvalee.com. And I wanted to do a quick plug. My cousin, Lisa Dimas, she is actually running for governor in the state of Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota when I was a young girl for 2 or 3 years, so up there with where you guys are at. And so I just wanted to do a quick plug for her. So go, Lisa. She's running on the piece.
I tell you what, well, we need a lot of reform up there. There's a lot of issues that we have to reform up there.
Yes.
So I'm glad. Let's get more people active. We need that engagement. We need people to rise up and say enough's enough and actually make some differences. Nelva, we appreciate the time very much, my friend. Thank you for coming on the program. Good luck on the campaign. Got to get you back on again soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, you betcha. Appreciate it very much. See that? Activism. What it's all about. The education side, the healthcare side, running for office and making differences in our community. I'm so excited to see it. We are seeing so much of that around the nation, and I think that's going to help us in the midterm elections next year. But we're back at it again tomorrow. So much more to cover. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. Let's make it happen. We'll continue to follow that Tennessee special election tonight. We'll have those answers for you tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you back on the radio. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast, become your own voice of reason, and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.
Hey, it's Joe Pags. Make plans to join us for the show today. You know how we do it. We're bringing the top news stories that are affecting you, the top stories from social media, pop culture stories, could be in sports. Maybe we'll sing a song or two or three or make fun of somebody that you want us to make fun of. That plus, of course, a big part of the program is you calling in. Look, we can agree, we can debate, we can yell at each other, we can sing a song together. We do it all right here on the Joe Pags Show, Monday through Friday. Today at 5 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM, KQAM.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read